Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to focus on Google Classroom. I started using Google Classroom last fall, mostly as a supplemental tool in some of my classes. I used it to roll out photos, some sketchbook assignments, and some links to kids, but I really didn't use it to its full potential. And once we got into class this semester and I started hearing about some of the other things we could do with it, that changed how I've started using it with my classes. One of the first things I did with some kids was send out a questionnaire using a Google Doc where you create a copy for each student, and the kids then could respond to me privately about some of their concerns and worries with the individual project. It saved us class time to where I could respond to them one-on-one, and instead in class we could focus more on demonstrations, and I could handle some questions and issues with the kid privately and not have to do it during class time. So not only did it allow them to be a little bit more open, but it also saved some instructional time with me, which was awesome in an art class because we want all we can have. We also used the Google form. After we looked at that night, I went ahead and created one and kicked it out to the kids so they could answer some of these questions. I just asked 3 questions, but in the rest of the semester what I'm going to do is cater some of my art history around the answers that the kids said, like they seem not to know a whole lot about Impressionism, so we're going to make sure we do an Impressionism unit. Once we get down here, we talk about media, what they're using to create the artwork. Let's see, they don't have a whole lot of comfort with ink and not a whole lot of comfort with charcoal. So that helps me know that, hey, I want to make sure I do a project with ink and charcoal before the semester's over with this class. Most recently, we are working on a project in which they're drawing themselves holding an animal. Obviously, they're not really holding the animal, but they did some studying of an animal on the computer, and they, in turn, have to create and created 2 photos for me. A photo with them holding a piece of paper, and then a photo with them not holding a piece of paper, but in the same pose, so that they can see their shirt and look at the value on them. And then the other one allows them to do some sketching and some ideas to create their final piece before they start working large. Now in the past I would have had all these photos collected and on my computer. This way the kids have the pictures and they have the document. They can print this off as many times as necessary and then can use it, which is a lot more user-friendly for them. That's where I'm at with my visual course. Another person suggested to me in class really using Classroom as a aid when you're gone, which I hadn't really done at all. So a few weeks ago when I was gone skiing, we had just finished doing a 2-point perspective book project, and I went ahead and recorded every demo I did with the students on my document camera, and then was able to take those, dump those into my Google Drive, and each one is 3 to 4 minutes long. This one's 5 minutes long, a little bit longer, adding value, adding shadows. And the kids are then able to access this anytime they want and watch me go through and create the process of, for this one, we're trying to create a shadow of where books are hanging over and a shadow behind where maybe a book that's leaning up against something is, to give us a little bit more depth and give us a little bit more form on the objects. So the kids were able to go through and access this. I'm going to see if I can get one to actually run. The kids said it worked just fine, and I've been watching the students in class go through and continue to use these even though I'm back, and it allows them just to sit at their desk and work a little bit more on it. So that's been a great thing. It's been a great supplemental teaching tool as well in class, and it's something the kids can access, like I said, anytime they want, which is awesome. So that is where I'm at with Google Classroom and incorporating some of those other tools. I hope everybody has a great afternoon, and as my youngest likes to say, keep it classy.